Hey guys, it's Blake, and welcome to a new video. So if you're learning a language, you might have some image in mind of what you will be like when you're fluent, or if you're advanced in that language, which in my opinion is already fluent in some shape or form. You might have an image of what you will be like when you're quote-unquote actually fluent. Now, how does that compare to what you can do in your first language? Is the image that you have in mind of fluency in your target language to be able to do stuff that you can't even do in your first language? Or is it more realistic and comparable to what you can do in your first language? Often when setting expectations for what we can do in our target languages when we're quote-unquote fluent, we might have expectations to do stuff that we can't even do in our native languages. And in my opinion, you should really only expect and be expected to be able to do in your target language what you can already do in your first language in order to be considered fluent or a speaker of that language. Occasionally, you might have to be able to do stuff in your second language that you can't do in your first language, but that shouldn't take away from being able to call yourself a speaker of that language. The criteria to be considered a speaker of your target language should really only include being able to do stuff that you can already do in your first language. Now, what are some things that we expect to be able to do in our target languages that we sometimes can't even do in our first languages? Here's an example, or at least one that's specific to me, talking fast. So my main target language, Spanish, might be a little infamous for how fast it's spoken, and often native speakers might comment on how slowly I speak Spanish. And while part of that might be because it's my second language, a big part of that is that I can't even speak that fast in English. When I was younger, I grew up with a speech impediment and had to go to speech therapy in school for several years. Although most of the speech problems that I grew up with have been improved, I still have a variety of speech disfluencies in my normal speech and overall talk pretty slowly. Now that brings me to a related and more common type of thing that you might expect to be able to do in your target language or might be expected to be able to do that you can't even do in your first language a lot of the time, and that is filming videos all in one take without planning or scripting or whatever. In the language learning community, it's often frowned upon and sometimes even considered deceptive to script and edit videos that you film in your target language, especially if they're supposed to be like some type of demonstration of your level in that language. However, it's pretty common for native speakers to script and edit videos that they make in their first languages. For example, in this video, I'm making cuts at least as often as I made in the videos that I've filmed in Spanish so far, maybe even a little more often. And there are quite a few non-language related YouTubers that I've watched that make cuts like every sentence and they're native speakers of the languages that they're filming in. So in my opinion, as long as you're not blatantly misrepresenting your level in your target language, there's nothing wrong with making cuts in a video that you make in your target language. I would even consider it okay to script it to some extent, as long as you write your own script, but I wouldn't recommend limiting yourself to reading your script, since speaking from personal experience, I don't think that makes for good quality content. Sometime in the future, I would like to make some video essays in Spanish or Portuguese about second language acquisition theories, and whenever I do that, I will do at least as much research and preparation as if I were doing those videos in English, since there is already plenty of misinformation going around about language learning or second language acquisition, and there's no need for me to add to that by making videos about those things without doing my research first. Finally, one more example of something that we might often expect to be able to do in our target languages that many people can't even do in their first language is watch movies and TV shows without subtitles. This might be a surprising one, but nowadays many newer movies and TV shows are often hard to understand without subtitles because the actors don't speak that clearly or the sound mix might not be that good for understanding the dialogue. So it's pretty common for even native English speakers to need English subtitles to watch TV shows and movies in English. So if you're needing same language subtitles to watch TV shows and movies in your target language, unless you're having issues understanding your target language elsewhere, like in podcasts or YouTube videos or when talking to native speakers, you might not have quite as much to worry about. In conclusion, when you're learning a language aiming to become fluent, you should set realistic expectations for what you hope to be able to do once you're fluent, since there are a lot of things that we might expect to be able to do in our target languages, even more than the examples that I mentioned in this video, that we can't even do in our native languages. So don't get discouraged if there are things that you can't do in your target language that you can't do in your first language either. Thank you very much for watching this video if you made it to the end. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!